Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we are currently in the Doma Enclave, where we do the ranged DPS Rolequest. And Yugiri, how do we continue from here? Desiree, if you've come to ask after the blasphemy, I have naught to share. As of yet, our shinobi have seen no sign of the beast. The returnees, however, are all accounted for, and Lord Hien has seen them safely to the Kienkan. As such, he is presently assisting with the hunt. For a blessing, there have been no reports of other villagers turning in yet. Before the situation takes a turn for the worse, there's a matter I feel warrants further investigation. Kisei. Though a villager of Isari, I suspect she may, in fact, hail from my home, Suinosato. Knowing they would be loath to answer my inquiries, I entreated the Kojin to contact Suinosato in my stead. To hear tell of it, Princess Kurenai has made great strides in establishing stronger ties with the outside world. At mention of Kisei, however, their cordial warmth turned strangely cold. If we are to learn more, I fear we have little choice but to go and speak with the people of Suinosato ourselves. A simple visit for you, I imagine, but my banishment complicates matters. That said, it's been many years since I left home. Where to disguise myself, I might go unnoticed in your company, if you're willing to take the risk. Alright. Thank you. Let us make for Onokoro then. Her ARR outfit. The garments I wore when we first met. Sufficient, I think, to conceal my identity. How many years has it been since I last saw home? I'm a shinobi of Doma, aye, but even as a child I sought to ensure the safety and survival of Suinosato. I was quite bold in those days, if not a touch reckless, and together with the other children I often ventured beyond the borders of home. We yearned for adventure, and so one day we sought to behold the wonders of Doma. Imagine our horror to discover a city in ruin and ash, imperial soldiers marching through the streets. We fled at the sight, but in my haste, I lost my way in the bamboo groves. It was there I first met a young boy named Shun. A sweaty mess as he swung his wooden sword, with reckless abandon, training to fulfill his duty as a samurai, he said. Shun. That was the nickname by which Gosetsu called Hien in... When we were back then in the Azim Steppe, when we first met Hien. And all that. Back in Stormblood. Having seen the destruction of which the Empire was capable, I too felt the need to protect my home. I joined him in his exercises, and every day my resolve to protect those I loved grew. Sadly, my elders refused to listen. They were content to remain hidden beneath the waves and hopefully the Empire's notice. With a heavy heart I left in search of a strength I believed we sorely needed. And I found it as a shinobi. But the people feared war and conflict would follow on my heels should I return. I do not begrudge from their decision, nor do I regret my own. Part of me is overjoyed at the thought of seeing home again. Openly defying the wishes of a ruby princess, however, would bode ill for my family. They have suffered enough for my transgressions. That is why, for their sake, I would remain naught but a faceless shinobi at your employ. Thank you. With that in mind, let us make for Suinosato. All these years, yet naught appears to have changed since the day I left. But now's not the time to reminisce. We have work to do. Kisei's departure from Suinosato was likely decades ago. Perhaps the village elders will know why she chose to leave. Yukiri is now accompanying you? Amiable Elder. Kisei, huh? The name sounds familiar, and yet... Apologies, friend. My memory is not what it once was. Let us seek out another. So many fond memories. Pay no mind to my idle musings. Lead on. Cheerful Elder. My, it has been quite some time since I last heard that name. She was a priestess of a village, banished after drawing the ire of a former ruby princess. What has become of her after all these years, I wonder? Please, is there anything else you can tell us? Yunagi was quite close with her, if memory serves. Perhaps you should seek her out. Mother, I'd hoped to avoid my parents, but if there's no other way... Desiree, might I ask you to take the lead? I say, are you not the adventurer who aided Yugiri in Doma's liberation? 'Tis good to see you again. To what owe we the honor of your visit? Kisei, yes, we were close, but that was a long, long time ago. Still, if I can be of assistance to the woman to whom we owe so much, I will share all I know. Kisei was born to a family of priests, and even at an early age she was possessed of extraordinary abilities. Much was expected of her, but everything changed the day she said she could speak with the dead. No one believed her at first, but she continued to insist she could and strove to prove it by demonstrating knowledge well beyond her years. Knowledge of events to which she could not have been privy. Word of her talent eventually reached the Ruby Princess, and she was summoned to Shusui of the Violet Tides for a private audience. No one knows what Kisei said to her in the palace, only that the princess was incandescent with rage and ordered her exile forthwith. Some believe Kisei revealed a terrible secret of a royal house, or perhaps spoke a blatant falsehood that proved her a liar. Indeed, the knowledge she claimed to divine from the dead was not always truthful. But who is to say the dead would know the truth, or not seek to deceive? Thus could we never be certain if it was simply a fantasy, or a power divine. But one thing that is certain is that no small number of people found comfort in my words. Would that I could tell you more, but sadly I have not seen or spoken with Kisei since her banishment. Forgive me, but have you met your companion before? She looks familiar. I believe it's the first time our humble shinobi has visited Suinosato. I thought so. For the briefest of moments you reminded me of someone quite dear to my heart. Being a shinobi, I presume you have heard tales of Yugiri Mistwalker. Should you chance to meet her, may I ask you to deliver her a message? Tell her that her mother and father love her, that we could not be more proud of her. I will. I have no doubt that she feels the same, and not a day goes by without you in her thoughts. Ahem. I believe we've heard enough. Shall we return to Onokoro? You know, considering that you can be friends with the current Ruby Princess, maybe when you are, you should be able to ask her if she can figure something out, because if it was her predecessor who exiled Kisei, maybe she can figure out what happened there? If it was, I don't know. It's one of those things where I think another source, especially one that was already established in the game, would have been nice. My apologies for placing you in so peculiar a situation. Though I must confess, it did my heart good to see mother and father well. All the more reason I must do all I can to keep the peace. As a shinobi of Doma. No, as a member of the Eastern Alliance. Maybe there will come a day when Tsunosato opens to the world. A day when Yugiri Mistwalker can be reunited with her mother and father. Would that Lord Hien could be afforded the same opportunity. But Lord Kai and Lady Mina have long since passed. Two of too many lives lost in the Imperial occupation. I cannot imagine he would ever succumb to despair. But make no mistake, Lord Hien knows the pain of his people all too well. I can see it in his eyes, and if I may be honest, it troubles me at times. But perhaps I've said too much. Come, we must not keep him waiting. For a blessing, Onokoro appears to be untouched by the recent chaos, for now at least. Welcome back. I trust your journey proved an enlightening one. So she does in fact hail from Tsunosato, and you say she has possessed these divine gifts in childhood. Genuine or no, the people believe her, and more flock to her side with every passing day. But the returnees are safe at the Kien Khan, its defenses bolstered. As for blasphemy, I've spoken with our Confederate allies, among others, and together we will establish a network of contacts across the length and breadth of Doma to take up the search in earnest. Mark my words, we will find it. Okay. The devoted daughter. You've arrived not a moment too soon. The blasphemy has been sighted on the coast. For mercy, there are no reported casualties as of yet. Just the woman I was hoping to see. No sooner had we cast wide in our net than a Confederate messenger was at our door. If you join us, Rasho awaits our arrival at Onokoro. We just came from there. Yeah, about the blasphemy, yes? Lord Hien and Yugiri should be arriving soon enough. Well now, but the noble Lord of Doma should come in person once again. Maybe these blasphemies truly are a threat. Indeed they are, and I was told you and yours sided our quarry quite recently. Aye, but we did. Near the islands of Shoal Rock, the beasts appear to be docile by all accounts, but appearances can be deceiving. If it is as you say, and this blasphemy has eyes only for former conscripts, then we have naught to fear. I trust those we accepted into our care are still in yours at the Kienkan, enjoying the finest Doman hospitality. Anyway, I know not why it came to the Ruby Sea, nor why it remains idle. But if we act quickly, there's a chance we can take it unawares. I propose we divide our forces. If you're willing to go ashore, we'll take a ship and circle about the islands. The first to find it will have the honor of the kill. Simple enough plan. Shall we be off to Shoal Rock then? That is not the voice I gave Hien last episode, but I don't know. I can't find it again. Make ready, Desiree. Should we find the beast first? We must be prepared to strike at once. This is where the blasphemy was last sighted. If the fates are kind, this will all be over soon. Damn. Such speed, I doubt even my falcons could keep pace with it. Bah, don't tell me that blasphemy is flying off into the distance. I hope the ill will it bore me in life might compel the beast to stay and fight. Perhaps less of Minato remained than I thought. Minato? That monstrosity was Minato? You knew her? My family tried to flee to Hingashi during the occupation, but their ship was raided and sunk. When we happened upon the wreckage, she was huddled between her parents on a piece of flotsam, desperate to keep warm. But they had long since grown cold. We took her to Onokoro when we nursed her back to health. Couldn't imagine what horrors she must have witnessed. The mere sight of our weapons was enough to make her start screaming. She was clearly unfit for our trade, so we sought a village that might take her in. Isari was that village. Several months later, I chanced to meet her on this very beach. She was in the company of a young Orway fisherman. I knew at once she had found more than a home there. I saw them here many times after that. She found something comforting about this place, I think. According to reports from Wazatan, the memories and desires of those who turn can influence their behavior as blasphemies. Then perhaps Minato's memories are what compelled the beast to come here. That would also explain its timid nature. Minato was never one for violence, and the sight of you, blade drawn, no doubt stirred what little of a woman remains amongst them. If that's the case, an assault on the Kien is unlikely, guarded as it is by our samurai. But how are we to fight an enemy so quick to flee at the first sight of danger? Robbed of her parents, her husband, and now her life. I would rather we didn't have to at all. But I understand well the risk we take by doing nothing. If we catch sight of a blasphemy again, you'll be the first to know. Perhaps next time we can put our soul to rest. We scarcely had time to do our weapons ere it fled. Perhaps we must reconsider our approach. There's naught to do now but bide our time. Come, let us return to the Enclave. If a blasphemy fears to show itself, there's no telling how long it may take to track it down a second time. Given what we have learned, it seems likely that the blasphemy will return to Shoal Rock. But that knowledge will avail us not, we cannot prevent it from escaping again. Lord Hien, on behalf of the people of Isanamy, we are come with a request. We welcome you with open arms and open hearts. What is it you would ask of me? Those returned to us in the prisoner exchange have been granted shelter at the Kien. That they yet live is an affront to the Kami's grand design, and the spirits of our loved ones suffer for it. Balance must needs be restored, and so I beseech you to render them unto the goddess Isanamy. Absolutely not. 'Tis not our place to pray for the death of others, nor to steal to sate mere bloodlust. When I take a life, be it by command or my own hand, I do so not in service to vengeance, but to uphold my duty to Doma and her people. How did your mercy for Yatsuyu serve your duty? How were your people made better by the sight of her walking free? For her crimes and her cruelty, I cut her down the day we took Doma Castle. I sought to kill her, and by rights she should have died then and there. But the Kami willed otherwise, and returned her to us alive and bereft of her memories. With no recollection of her deeds, it would have been Tsuyu who faced punishment, not Yotsuyu. This was my judgment, and for it you were denied the justice you deserved. You have every right to resent me. But you come before me and ask that I sacrifice men and women whose only crime was to suffer, to be condemned to a life of servitude. If you truly believe your cause to be sacrosanct, believe yourselves fit to bear the burden and swing the sword, then step forward. Sophistry and lies. They were meant to die. The spirits demand it. Are those the words of the dead, or the living you yet mourn? Kosetsu. Word of the Asari priestess and her gift has spread far and wide, and I want to see the truth of it myself. By coincidence, I crossed paths with a traveler hailing from the self-same village, who had a mind to return as well, but alas, could not, and so he bid me deliver a missive in his stead. Judging with a striking resemblance, I take it you're the young fisher Akitsu? This is a letter from my father. He was severely wounded but expects to make a full recovery. He's alive, but that would mean... She lied to you. Surely a woman of your talents can divine a plausible explanation of this turn of events. You shall pay for this contumely. My daughter will make certain of that. Apologies for the abrupt and otherwise unannounced arrival. As you can see, my Lord Hien, I am returned. Full glad am I for it. Thanks to your timely arrival, we have given the lie to Kisei's claims of preternatural powers. I gather you are apprised of recent events? Aye, it did not take long to learn the state of affairs here in Doma, and that my assistance may be required. I heard tales of Kisei channeling the dead, including the father of one young fisherman. Imagine my surprise when I saw the spirit in the flesh. He was also on a pilgrimage, paying respects to the departed, and we had a chance to meet in a Liberation Front infirmary. Would that we were not brought back together under such circumstances, but I'm glad to see you all hale and hearty. Tonbo, is something the matter? I wish to apologize, Lord Hien. It was wrong of me to say the things I said. I understand nothing can bring back my father, but I was so angry Please, Tonbo, you needn't apologize. It's just, my brother was always so brave, but father's death was more than he could bear, and it turned him into that monster. If he wasn't brave enough, what chance do I have? We wanted to perform the rites for father, but the body was never returned to us, so... Not that I blame you for that, Lord Hien. I understand nothing could be done. But Akitsu's father survived as nothing short of a miracle, but I fear he's indeed the rare exception. I've offered prayers at more graves than I can count. It would be cruel to give others a false hope that their loved ones might return. And yet, Kisei continues to do just that, offering comfort with her lies. Attempting but ephemeral balm for wounds that have yet to heal. Much like the anger some harbor for you, or resentment for the families restored, while theirs remain broken. But for those like that poor boy whose hearts lack for hatred, who know only sadness and despair, aye, they too may turn. Exposing the truth of Kisei's deception hasn't helped matters. If we are to prevent more suffering, we must pursue a lasting solution. I would be most grateful for your counsel, Gosetsu. There's much I could learn from your pilgrimage. If there's aught you require, but say the word and it shall be done. It's the least I can do for the part I played in Yotsu's tragedy. I failed to in the end, but I will not fail you, my lord. Thank you again for your aid, Desiree. The day's events have given me much to consider. When our next step is decided, you will be the first to know. Okay, another cut, and we continue this another time. Until next time then, I'm Mace, and don't get lost.